Hello. Oh, I've had a right old mare there. I basically started streaming, but using the wrong settings. So I was streaming for like 3 or 4 minutes there, talking to myself on a private stream. So I was actually just streaming to myself using the wrong settings. But we now got it sorted. So how's everybody doing? How you doing, Penguin Fuzzy? How you doing? I'm here. It was really good to have a good chat with you, Penguin earlier, and Benji and Steffi, the likes. Good to get involved. Always loved the fantasy chat. It was a lot of City chat, a lot of the Bruyne chat, basically. And talking off straight away, where he comes in with Captain KDB or Gundo for the double game week. I mean, jeez, that's a tough question. I personally think Gundogan is the one, but if Benji were here, he'd probably be saying otherwise. But I just think Gundo stands a better chance of playing in both game weeks for me. I'm going with Gundogan personally. Let me bring my team up actually. So this is all a bit of a mess because I was trying to figure out what was actually going on. But now, we're here. That's the main thing. We are here. But yeah, here's my team. And just as a it's game, yeah, Gundogan is who I'd go for out of the two of them, but KDB probably has more potential upside, but I'd still probably go for Gundogan. How you doing, Kobe? How you doing, Dylan? Good to see everyone getting involved and joining. Oh, forward playing up. Honestly, I'm the start of the stream right now is such a mess, but yeah, good to be live. I was planning on going live a bit later, but I'm having an Indian. My parents have decided to order me some food or get some food in. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll stream, have some nice food, and relax in the evening. So here we are. Hey, how's it going? You're on the 65-inch TV. My word. I mean, I'm on a 65-inch TV, and then you can really tell how bad this trim is. Like, I am desperate for the barbers to reopen because my word, I'm at. Does it work? Just cut off that trim. Now it just looks like I have a massive forehead. But Jesus, 65-inch TV. Hey, jeez, got HD speakers as well. Get me booming. Good stuff, man. Who are you going to replace for Barnes? See, that is one of the main discussion points of today, or one of the big discussion points. Barnes, who to replace for Barnes? So there's a number of options in my mind at the minute. We're looking at Jesse Lingard. He's probably top of my list currently. We've also got someone like Saka, maybe targeting for the game week 29, but there's potential rotation. Someone like Mason Mount, who has actually been performing very well of late, kind of goal every other game, and looks really, really good. Someone like maybe Pedro Neto, who doesn't have the best immediate fixtures, but after a couple of game week, the fixtures turn, and it gets really, really good. I'm definitely kind of looking at Jesse Lingard the most at the minute. 6 million, so like a 0.9 mil drop. I probably will make that move tonight. But as you can also see, guys, the bench boost has been played. I don't know how well you can see that, but because the bench is all kind of darkened out in green, that means my bench boost is getting played. So you've got Leno, Bamford, Dallas, and Rafinha all sitting there very nicely on the bench. It's not completely ideal in the fact that I don't love having triple leads against West Ham, especially with me planning on bringing in Jesse Lingard. It means that there's that conflict there, but it's either triple leads against West Ham or triple leads against Chelsea. So I think I prefer it against West Ham, and you never know. Leeds, they're not too bad away from home, so maybe one of Rafinha or Bamford or Dallas can nab something. Why should I go for? Who should I go for? Sorry, from Kobe. Reguilon our target. It's that kind of, Reguilon definitely provides more upside in terms of potential attacking returns, but with target, he's playing week in, week out. Reguilon we saw get benched, and that's probably, I feel like Reguilon will be the much more exciting, but you can also flip that over to frustrating player to own out of the two, as he's more likely to get benched. And also, Aston Villa, although they did get that loss against Sheffield, how's that happen then? They have got a very good clean sheet record this season, and it's just the team that do pull out clean sheets. So I feel like personally, I'll be looking at going for Target, but I'm trying to be a bit more risk averse after I was had quite like a risky, I'd say, first half of the season. I'm trying to play it a bit safer from now, and that's kind of how the advice kind of entails. It's good. I mean, come on. I cannot wait for the barbers to open. Start Bamford or start Bertrand Traore? That's a tough question, because Bamford week in, week out is probably more likely to score than Traore, although Traore does have the better fixture. And West Ham defensively look really good. I'm tempted by Traore, but almost as I was saying before, like the safer pick definitely is Bamford. Harrison or DCL. In terms of to start, let me just have a look quickly who Everton actually play. Actually, I'll tell you what I can do. I can just bring up the fixtures, can't I? Yes, I can. Where did I put the fixtures? They are right here. So that means Everton are playing against Chelsea, which, that's really not ideal, is it? That's really not ideal. I'd probably still play DCL though, just because I don't really like Harrison that much anyway. He's got a few attacking returns this season, but hasn't been amazing. So I definitely like DCL, and we've seen him pop up in the bigger games and nab goals. So yeah, I don't mind. I think DCL for me. Start Fabianski or Martinez. If Fabianski didn't play, Martinez will come in. Yeah, that's a really good point. So West Ham playing against Leeds. I'd still probably... West Ham have looked really good defensively, and I don't know whether this may be a bit of bias coming out that, I'm playing 3 Leeds players against West Ham. But just because Aston Villa are such a good defensive side, and the save points as well, and the bonus points, I just don't think I couldn't not play Martinez. But at the same time, it's a really tough choice you have there, because Fabianski is still a very, very good pick, and against a Leeds side who kind of do love to shoot, could be really good. Thoughts on Captain Cancelo? Did you play your TC already, and how was it? Oh, that was just running joke. My TC for the past 3 seasons, I basically really started FPL not that long ago. So I started properly playing FPL about 3 seasons ago, and so I've not had a single return yet for my triple captain. I was someone who triple captained Duffy, which, why the hell am I doing that? So he got a 2-pointer. That was first triple captain. I triple captained Mane last season when he got that 1-pointer, and I triple captained Salah in the first double game, the first kind of big double game week when he got benched this season. So yeah, triple captains, I'm probably not the best person to come to, but it's also just kind of like just don't do what I do with your triple captain, and you'll be absolutely fine. Thoughts on captaining Cancelo? Personally, not sure if he'll play both games. I think he'll definitely play the United game. Did he get benched? I can't remember now. In the last Man City game, let me go and have a look. Did Cancelo get benched? Because if he got benched like Gundogan did against Wolves, I've got a feeling he didn't get benched against Wolves. Let me try and find the fixture. Yeah, so Cancelo played, so I think he'll definitely play against United. Could then go and play against Southampton and get benched against Fulham. But I don't know if I see him playing both game weeks, so I think it's a little bit risky. But as with any City player, it's risky captaining them for the doubles. We just don't know whether they're going to play. I've got it on Gundo because he had that rest, so I think he will play the next 2 games. But it's definitely not like the worst option, I'd say. Got Son and a Bertrand Traore in for Maddison. And Barnes, thoughts? Yeah, I think those are really nice moves. Personally, I think Bertrand Traore, like, I think for me, Jesse Lingard, Pinchard, like, is going to be better for a longer period of time than Traore, and has also just been getting the returns. Once Grealish comes back, And, even when Grealish has been out, Traore's not actually been playing too great. I'd say Traore is kind of quite a punty player. Plays for a decent side, but I still think he's a very punty player when you've got players like Neto, you've got players like Saka, Lingard in that price bracket, even Mason Mount, who kind of have showed a bit more consistency where they're kind of definitely creeping out of that bracket of not being considered punts and being considered genuine kind of like decent FPL options. Whereas I'd say that Bertrand Traore is very much still in that punt, and I think Son, great pick, really good move there. Robbie Shaw in Shaw in for Cancelo due to rotation. So Shaw in for Cancelo due to rotation, and Berge in for Odegaard. Arsenal with difficult fixtures. I think that Shaw looks like a really, really good option actually for the future, just because Manchester United's fixtures are hard, yes, but their record this season, as I mentioned earlier, well, in the previous stream with Mr. Penguin, that Manchester United just keep getting 0-0s basically against all these bigger teams. So yeah, I really do like Shaw. Would play Concert or DCL this week? That's really tough. That is really, really tough. I do tend to like going for the attacker, but I can just seeing it being like a really simple clean sheet for Aston Villa, so it does make me lean a little bit more towards Konsa. But yeah, that's a really tough one, man. Honestly, like you have a little debate. Yeah, I mean you probably are. That's why you're asking, debating over that. What I'd say there is, I do think that Konsa is more guaranteed points, as I'd put it, because I think he's more likely to get a clean sheet. But DCL definitely has more upside in terms of if he scores, he's going to get a 9-pointer probably, or he could go and get like a goal and an assist. So there's more upside from DCL, but there's more kind of guaranteed points from Konsa. Make me feel better with your TC fella. Mine wasn't that bad, I guess. DCL TC still better than 3 season combined of your TC. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just one of those with the TC. Like, I feel like a lot of people this year, especially, haven't had the greatest of TCs. Even if you've like hit your TC with Kane this year, it's not like it was like absolutely incredible. So it makes me definitely feel better than my previous TCs, even though if you did TC Kane this year and got the 8-pointer, it still is better than all my previous 3 TCs combined. So yeah, it's always nice. Like if you get a return on a captaincy on a TC, I think you should be absolutely, like, it's absolutely fine. It's still decent points. Thoughts on Captain Antonio for this week? Interesting one. I mean, yeah, one of those players who has probably like one of the greatest haul potentials, as you put it. Like if you were picking kind of like the scout does for FPL, and they basically just go through and pick free hit players, because the majority of the players they pick are only really relevant for like one game week, for this exact game week, which can be helpful obviously, but with that regard, I think that like the players I'd put in the most kind of haul potential for this week would be the Man City boys, because of the double game week, obviously. I probably wouldn't include us, even though Southampton have a double game week. It's basically just a single game week against Sheffield, and then just like appearance points. You'd put Antonio in there, and maybe even Lingard in there for haul potential against the Leeds, who just aren't very good defensively. And you'd maybe put like Harry Kane in there against Palace. Love scoring against Palace, and although Palace we get results, not the best. We're not. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Cahill has looked a lot more solid, and defensively we look better against United, but United were just a bit poor. And that Spurs attack at the minute is looking so dangerous. So could see Kane getting something. And yeah, so chances of a Newcastle clean sheet this week has West Brom, Burnley, and Brighton in the next 5. Yeah, the thing with what I'm kind of gauging from this season especially is that with with kind of like the clean sheets, you should focus more on the teams that all right, I know it's not like weird to say, but you should focus on the teams that are more actually getting clean sheets rather than have the fixtures that could provide the clean sheets. So, for example, you look at Newcastle's fixtures and think they play West Brom, Burnley, and Brighton, but actually Newcastle haven't been a very good defensive side this season. I don't know how many clean sheets they've kept, but it can't be any more than 5, I don't think. Maybe they've only kept 3 or 4. Whereas, you look at a side like Chelsea, you look at a side like City, even the likes of Aston Villa, and they don't have the easiest of fixtures, but they're teams that have actually been keeping clean sheets. So that's kind of personally where I've gone a little bit wrong. I've been kind of really attacking the fixtures like you suggest there, thinking, oh yeah, surely they get a clean sheet. But I think it's better to actually focus on the sides that have actually been performing in the clean sheet area rather than those who could. But obviously, really good fixtures, and fixtures can bring some really good form. So I can understand why you're looking for that. And they also have a game at 29. So I don't think a Newcastle bat option is the worst because of that. But I'd rather be looking towards players, as I say, who are more actually likely to get a clean sheet, even in a bad game. One transfer team looks like Martinez, Stones, Cancelo, Soufal, Dallas, Dean, Bruno, Salah, Gundo, Barnes, Son, DCL, Watkins, Bamford. Any transfer, should have moved Kane and sell Bruno. That was a hell of a mouthful, can I say? The first thing that screams to me there is Barnes being out. He's injured. But you do seemingly have a kind of fully playing team. So you're saying, should I move for Kane and sell Bruno, DCL to Kane? If you can afford the move kind of like directly out the bat, so you can just go DCL to Kane without selling anyone else, then 100%. If you have to sell Bruno and to afford to then go from DCL to Kane for a -4, that's not for me personally. If you want to make that move, just bank the transfer, make 2 transfers next week. But yeah, other than that, they'll be looking to take up Barnes. Someone like Lingard, Neto. But yeah, I think Lingard's top of my list. Game at 29. That's probably what I'd be looking to do. United keep at 0-0. It's better teams. Crystal Palace. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't actually referencing Palace, but it still kind of rings true. If you look at the big 6 sides, that the traditional big 6 side, every time United have played them this season, all but 2 times the result has been 0-0. So the point still has a validity, but yeah, against Palace, you would be expecting a lot more from Bruno, but hey ho. I think West Brom 2, maybe 1-0. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Penguin, I'm in a similar boat. I can actually see West Brom doing okay against Newcastle. Newcastle now have Wilson, Almiron, St. Maximan. Their main attacking outlets all injured. I think Wilson has done really well in his recovery and is due back soon, but I don't think he is due kind of quite back this soon, which could really be in kind of West Brom's favour, because genuinely the race at the bottom is really heating up. If West Brom win this game against Newcastle, that's massive then, because it gives them a sort of outside chance of getting back into it. Then they only need 1 more win after that to go and tie on points with Fulham. So yeah, West Brom really need to win this game and get a few wins together to kind of give them any hope of staying up. And Fulham are making a good deal, a good game of it as well. Good go of it area. Thoughts on Palace? Zaha back now. Everything will be good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think with Zaha back, hopefully Mateta starting as well. And then you've got Eze, Schlupp coming back as well. If we see a front 4 for Palace of Zaha, Mateta, Eze and Schlupp, I think that would be absolutely unreal in my opinion. Obviously, it doesn't quite match the front 4 of Bale, Son, Kane and Dele Alli, but I think they can. I think genuinely that we can match them if we play those front four, and actually give them a really good game and potentially come out with a victory. And you never know, Palace could become an option, but it's a hold off, wait and see. If I had to choose 2 out of the 3 of DCL, Bamford and Rafinha, who would you go for? I bench DCL, but it seems risky. Choose 2 out of the 3 of DCL, Bamford and Rafinha. Bench DCL seems risky. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the fact that you've got the 2 leads, boys, I think it potentially is a good idea to play them both, because the upside of kind of having the combination of those 2, I do really like. They're probably playing against the marginally easier defence as well than DCL. You'd say, I mean, Bamford has been smashing it this season, second highest scoring attacker. So, yeah, I think the Rafinha and Bamford is the right 2 out of there, but still a very, very tough decision. Pereira in for Shaw. And Steve Barron. I'm sorry, I do not know. Pereira in for Shaw and Steve. I do not know who you mean, but I don't mind the Pereira move, although I think that if Luke Shaw, David Shaw, I think you mean Luke Shaw, surely. Yeah, I think Luke Shaw's not a bad one, but I wouldn't be getting rid of Pereira. Hi mate, what's your thoughts on this double game week? If the FA want fans back in for the last 2 games of the seasons. Oh yeah, I have seen some of that going about. So just to provide a bit of context there for everyone else, Michael. Basically, with the way that the fixtures land at the end of the season, it's looking like there would be only one set of teams, only 10 teams would get home fixtures, and it's brought up a lot of controversy over, well, that would be a massively unfair advantage, especially with Fulham playing Newcastle on the last day, which could be a massively unfair advantage for Fulham if they get a home crowd for that game. So there were talks of pushing back the game week 37 fixtures so that they could then get fans, so that both kind of so that all teams, could get a home game. So you'd have 10 teams in game week 27 with fans getting a home game, and 10 teams in game week 37, and game week 38 all having fans. So they would push the game week 37 fixtures back, and it would lead to a double game week 37. Now the thing is, I still have my bench boost and I can cancel it. I'm planning on playing it this week. I could cancel it and potentially go. The thing is, it's one of them where I have a good bench boost now. Is it potentially worth the risk of a very, very good reward as well, of just holding on to my bench boost for that eventuality? It's something I'm going to have to think of. I don't know kind of how sure it is that will happen. I just think because of the uncertainty, I'm probably going to hold on to it. But it could be a mad one if it does roll around and you've still got like a bench boost, because you would have immediately an extra. You'd have an extra 8 fixtures, which no one else would have, which would be unbelievable. Is Sterling to Mahrez and Barnes to Son a good move? I like the Son move. Mahrez one, I'm a little bit too, I feel like that's a bit too knee-jerky for me. He's had a really, really good week, yes, but what's likely to happen now is that he's had a really good week, and then he's probably just going to go and get benched for a couple games, or get 1 or 2 pointers in this game, in this double game week. So I really like the Son move, but I'd probably go for someone else other than Mahrez. Maybe like a Jesse Lingard, like I've discussed, or someone who's around that price bracket. Is a really weird one in FPL at the minute, because there's not really anyone else. Mason Mount looks decent as well, or maybe Gundogan as well. If you want a City asset, I think Gundogan's a very, very good one. Do you think Fulham have a chance against Liverpool? I think they will play the low block, as it were, as is being described a lot in football at the minute. The low block, I think Arteta's come up with it, is what I've been told. And they'll make it really, they'll frustrate Liverpool. I think they stand a chance, yes. I mean, they, should have had a goal against Spurs. They got disallowed. Unfortunately, had it been next season, that goal would have stood. So any Magic owners can feel pretty bummed off about that one, to be honest. But I definitely think they stand a chance. I do think that Liverpool will most likely come away with the win. Liverpool just, they need to sort themselves out. Oh, pardon me. It's been a long day. But yeah, Aubameyang for Aubameyang's one I'm actually genuinely looking at for the coming game weeks. It's one of them though where because if they get knocked out of the Europa League, I'll be hopping straight onto Aubameyang, straight onto him. But because of the Europa League and the rotation before the Europa League games, he's most likely going to get rotated. I think it's just not worth it. But yeah, I do really like Aubameyang for the coming game weeks. Who do I think will get relegated? That is one hell of a question. So I think the bottom two have made it a little bit too hard for themselves. I think they have made it too hard for themselves. I actually although Fulham, to be fair to them, have made themselves really hard to beat. But this next 3 run of fixtures against the bigger sides will be quite telling, because if they lose all 3 of them, which on paper they should, then there'll be 8 games left. And if Newcastle, Brighton and Burnley have picked up points, then it'll be really hard for them. But who do I think is going to get relegated? I was on Newcastle for quite a while, just because I thought Callum Wilson was going to be out for the rest of the season. The fact that Wilson looks like he's going to come back, I think Wilson single-handedly will probably save that Newcastle side from relegation. Just he's that good of that he's that good of a player. So yeah, I think to be fair, Brighton have looked really, really poor of late, and they have some real big crunch games coming up. And if they continue not being able to score, then I genuinely think it's between Brighton and Fulham. Maybe just because of form, I'd go for Brighton to get relegated, but I think realistically probably Fulham still. Is Bamford the new Pukki, mate? He is better than Pukki. Pukki was a quarter of a season he was good. Bamford has been doing he's been smashing it for a long period of a season. I feel like Pukki now is kind of the way I think of a Pukki or a player is a player. Pukki is a player who just has the first 8 games of the season, they'll do really well, they'll score against whoever, and then they just drop off after that. That's what I kind of consider a Pukki as now. And Bamford has just been he's had a level of consistency about him. So I think he's definitely a tier above. Sheffield United, Liverpool, West Brom. Yeah, I mean, if Liverpool were to get relegated, is that even mathematically possible? 20 points. So, I mean, it's mathematically possible, Penguin, but I doubt it. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say there. Go with Bamford and Rafinha, and then new Kane and Son. Okay, yeah, that's maybe a little bit of a stretch. Not even a little bit of a stretch. That just is a massive stretch. Kane and Son are definitely on another level to Rafinha and Bamford. Not saying that Rafinha and Bamford have been... well, I guess in terms of that Kane x Son and that Bamford x Son, I get what you're saying. But there are kind of levels apart. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Bale in for Kane -4, not a chance. Kane, yeah, just keep Kane. Good captain for the rest of the season. Bale, one game week wonder. It really could be a 1 game week wonder for Bale. It really could be that way. Everyone jumping on him. Hold off for Bale for now. See if he gets consistent minutes. See if he gets consistent returns. And it could, yeah, as I say, just be a 1 game week wonder. Do you think Gundo will play both games? Yeah, I think so. I think logically it makes sense, although we know that Pep Roulette has kind of no logic to it. yeah, yeah, no. Logically, he got benched in the Wolves game, so he plays United, he plays Southampton, he gets benched in Fulham, and then he plays in the Champions League. Like, I think, yeah, that makes the most sense. So yeah, I do, and it's why I've got him captain personally. Let me bring my team back up. So yeah, Penguin. Do you think Tony will be good in the Premier League next season? Well, Brentford have got to get to the Prem first, but they're looking likely to. They're looking likely to. Will he do well, or will he be a pookie? You're shading Bamford there, Penguin. He's the second highest scorer in this list. He's the second highest scorer this year. Like, Pookie, will he do a Pookie? Yeah, I could see him doing a Pookie. I've watched him play a bit, and there's a lot of hype about him. He just, for me, he looks like one of them standard championship strikers who can do really well in the championship, but maybe can't quite do it in the Prem. But I'll be happily proved wrong, and I guess I'll probably think that until he does prove me wrong. But I probably won't. I've seen people discuss on Twitter saying, "Oh, he'll go straight into my FPL team." I don't think. For me, I've now come to the opinion that I'm just going to stick with players who I know each year and who've played kind of year in, year out in the Premier League. We saw at the start of this season, Bamford was the guy to go for, and more people were going for Mitrovic than Bamford at the start of the season. Looking back, that seems absolutely stupid, but it's just like how everyone was kind of thinking. So yeah, I think he could do all right, but we'll wait and see. Is there any double game week in the future, or it's over? No, there are more double game weeks. There'll be small double game weeks, as I just kind of discussed there with the point Michael brought up, is that there could be a potential double game week in the future. Game week 38 could be like one massive one, but I doubt it. But in kind of confirmed double game weeks, Spurs, Villa, Everton, Southampton, all have various double game weeks played against each other, still to be rearranged. So there will be a couple of double game weeks by the looks of it, or maybe one more, but it won't be a very big one at all. Do you think Cancelo will play both games? I doubt it, but he could well do. Like, we really don't know. I think he'll definitely play against United. Could play against Southampton and then get benched against Fulham, because I don't know. At the minute though, you'd probably argue that the Fulham game was harder, so maybe he'll want him for the Fulham game. But yeah, I'm a lot more unsure about Cancelo than Gundogan. Bamford is a troll. His form is fizzling out now. Yeah, that's one of the things, is that I do think that Leeds have been very lucky when they've played a lot of teams. Like, they played Palace without Zaha, without any defenders really. They played against Leicester when they were had loads of injuries. They've just faced a lot of teams when it's been absolutely ideal to play them. But to be fair, the level of intensity that they put into every single game, they're going to come out with results. And the reason why they kind of will stay up at least under Bielsa, year in, year out. Year in, year out. Under Bielsa, year in, year out, against the smaller teams, they will just win. So yeah. Who do you think will get promoted? Norwich look like they're running away with it. Look at the job. I think is it Brentford who is second? And then let me have a look at. We've got the. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. That is a real tough one. You've got Watford, Swansea, Reading, and Bournemouth there as well in the playoffs. Watford or Swansea, it's never the team. The team that finishes third in the Championship rarely actually gets promoted. So I don't know, but yeah, Norwich and Brentford. It's probably between Brentford and Watford for that second spot. But we'll see. Benjamin, you said don't do Bruno to suffer -4, but if you look at the long time, I think someone outscored Bruno between now and 33. Yeah, in terms of that was the kind of, I guess, countering point I made against myself, is that as a single game week transfer, Bruno could definitely punish. But longer term, with Son having the blank game week and the double game week going forward, you could, I guess, almost consider that as like 4 points to cover that -4. So like, it's definitely not the worst move. I was just kind of trying to think of it very laterally in terms of this game week. But long term, in terms of like, you will get the two points back. It's not a bad move, but you have to consider as well that, you know, Bruno this season, if you don't own him, has probably been the most punishing player. So I'd have that in the back of my mind. But then again, you know, people were saying it about Salah, and a lot of people, myself included, have taken out Salah and not been punished for it. So moving off Bruno now is probably the time where it will be. It will go one of two ways. Either you'll really benefit from it, or you'll get absolutely screwed by it. But yeah, could be a decent move. Apparently, it's different ball games. So I don't think Tony will do okay, but won't find as completely, man. Premier League is a completely different ball game to Championship. He'll find it a lot harder, but you know, like Ollie Watkins, could actually go and do okay. And doing these are the only going to do better. Rodrigo playing today, scored 2 goals and should play Monday. Rafinha, Bamford, Rodrigo is that's very true, man. That combination up front for Leeds is really, really solid. I think Leeds look good going forward. It's just defensively where they have their problems. As I said, like against the easier teams, or the teams that are in the relegation battle, if Leeds play them on like, Leeds don't really have an off day. Like when they get beaten 4-0, it's just because they're poor defensively and not because their energy levels weren't there. Whereas if they play one of the smaller sides in the Premier League on an off day, Leeds, like the energy levels will just, that's why they've been scored a lot of goals this season. Just because the energy levels, other teams couldn't hack it basically. Bartley to someone who plays in game week 29. I'll just roll over the transfer. Do you think he would start this week or replace him with Troy? I think that Barkley will get back in to that Villa side. I can't see him not. I think it was just giving him a break. Maybe just a bit of motivation as well, some competition. It's good to kind of bench players when they're not playing the best to make them a little bit uncomfortable. I can see Barkley getting that spot back. If you've got a free transfer, then like as a move I've made, like I think a Jesse Lingard, Rafinha, I think is a really, really good one to have. So out of the guys you put there, 100% would go for Rafinha out of them. But yeah, I think Lingard, a long-term pick, looks really good as well. If Cardiff get promoted through playoffs, it's good. Cardiff and Wales. Jeez, yeah. But I mean, I've not actually followed Cardiff too much. But I'll be very intrigued to see. Like, it looks like Norwich are going to get promoted up again. So, could we see another Pookie party? I tell you what, Buendia, if he comes in at a cheap price in the midfield, I'd be very tempted, because I think he's been having a very, very good season and was one that kind of looked good when he was in the Premier League previously. Wasn't getting the minutes and necessarily the returns. Whereas now, like he does look really good for them. So I think Buendia could definitely be one to look out for. Who is better, Dunk or Lucas Digne for this game week? So let me just have a look at the fixtures quickly. So 27, Digne play against Chelsea. Dunk plays against, where the hell are Brighton? I am definitely, but Leicester. Oh, Leicester. For like form wise, you'd probably say Dunk against Leicester, because Leicester don't really have any attackers. Digne's obviously got the more potential, and Chelsea haven't been scoring like loads of goals. When they've been winning 1-0, or they've been getting 0-0s. So I don't mind Digne at all. Digne's got more of an upside to him, so I'd be tempted to play him more. But then Brighton have actually been okay defensively, and at the minute, like Brighton, if they're going to grab a goal, probably it will have to be from like a set piece, from like a Lewis Dunk. So yeah, you've got some good options there, and it'll be obviously a tough choice. But I think my dinner is here, so I'm gonna love you and leave you. If you have enjoyed the stream, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're new around here, that's my words there for a second. If you're new around here, the support of late has been absolutely great. Praying that the barbers will open sometime soon, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning for the deadline stream. I will be, actually, let's just double check when that'll be. 10:30, so I'll be going live latest 10:30 tomorrow morning for all the deadline questions, you know, all the last minute questions for a bit of fun, and doing some score predictions then as well. Can you give me a tip on how to catch up? 117 point gap, and I mean, yeah, I'm in a similar position. 117 point gap. I've done it before. Don't rush, so don't kind of get yourself trapped in minuses, and I'd say just keep it simple. Make sure you cover the template and maybe go for a little bit some differential combinations as well. But yeah, hop in the stream tomorrow morning and I'll give you more in depth. But I'll catch everyone about. Have a good one. See ya.